Big changes are happening at the Administration for Children and Families, and these changes could directly impact low-income families across the country. We're talking about the cancellation of a major TANF program, a crackdown on government aid for immigrants, and the end of a $121 million assistance program. Now, if you rely on benefits, these could affect how you get help, so let's break it down. First, I want to talk about the TANF Work and Family Wellbeing Pilot Program. This was a program designed to help struggling families in 5 states: California, Kentucky, Maine, Minnesota, and Ohio. It was supposed to give these states more flexibility in how they helped people find work, get training, and stabilize their lives. So instead of just enforcing strict work requirements, it was going to give them permission to have a little bit more fluidity so that they could help more people in different ways. The idea was to make sure that the families navigating extreme emergencies like domestic violence, homelessness, or disabilities would also be able to get the help that they need. The Biden administration approved this program right after the 2024 election, but before the Trump administration took office in January. Now, the Trump administration has completely canceled it. They say that the previous administration should not have made that decision after the election, and that their focus is on promoting work and reducing dependency. So, what does this mean for you? Well, if you're in one of these 5 states, the good news is that for the rest of 2025, you won't be subject to that strict TANF work participation requirement. However, starting in 2026, unless your state reapplies and is selected for a new pilot program under Trump's stricter guidelines, those traditional work requirements will be back in full force. Now, here's the key part. The Trump administration says that they will be accepting new applications for a different kind of TANF pilot program, but this one will be much more focused on enforcing work participation and reducing government dependency, rather than testing new ways to help families. The second big change is about who can receive government assistance. The Trump administration has announced that they will be cutting off all federal assistance for undocumented immigrants. They've sent letters to state agencies across the country saying that taxpayer dollars should not be used to support people who are in the U.S. without documentation. This comes after an executive order from President Trump directing all federal agencies to identify any cash or non-cash benefits going to undocumented individuals and shut them down. So if you're a U.S. citizen or a legal resident, this policy shouldn't directly affect you. But some programs may start requiring stricter proof of eligibility, meaning that you may have to jump through a few extra hoops or submit more paperwork, go through additional verification steps or so on, or just experience delays in receiving benefits as these offices cope with these new regulatory changes. Now, the administration is also cutting funding to organizations that provide assistance to undocumented people. So if you've relied on a nonprofit or a community program for help in the past, you're going to need to check with them to see if anything is changing, because their funding may have changed as well. Now, the third major change is happening in New York, where the federal government is cutting off funding for a huge public assistance modernization project. For the last several years, New York has been working on a system called the Integrated Eligibility System, which was supposed to make it easier for people to apply for benefits like SNAP, Medicaid, and cash assistance. But the Trump administration just announced that they will no longer fund it, calling the project a waste of taxpayer money. They argue that after 9 years and $121 million in funding, the project has made very little progress, and they don't want to keep spending money on something that isn't delivering results. So if you live in New York and you rely on government assistance, you may see delays or changes in how you apply for benefits through this. I'm not entirely sure, but the state now has to figure out a new plan on how to modernize its system without that federal funding, which could slow things down. So what's the bigger picture here? These changes show that under the Trump administration, the focus of ACF is shifting. Instead of testing flexible ways to help families become stable, they're prioritizing strict work requirements, cutting funding to undocumented immigrants, and eliminating programs that they see as ineffective. More policy changes are certainly coming, and this likely won't be the last time that we see shifts in how benefits are handled. So make sure that you're subscribed for updates, and let me know in the comments what you think about these changes. Are they necessary? Are they going to make things harder for low-income families? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And don't forget to check out our other videos for more ways to save money and get free stuff.